Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Ladies and gentlemen, today I am going to introduce you to the GRECELL H2400. Now, please excuse it if you see a little dust here and there when we do close-ups, but I had this machine outside yesterday. I was working on finishing up some shelves on a shed that I'm building, and I was using it to power my saws, and my air compressor, and it held up to the job pretty well. And this is my compressor and the saw running at the same time at about 5 times the speed. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what can I say? I have to say that it definitely passes the test outside, at least for me. The three main tools that I use when I'm out here building something, working, is my saw right here, my circular saw, and the compressor. Those are the three main tools that take the most electricity at one time that I use. Now, I don't think that I would be able to run all three at the same time. Any two at the same time, yes, but not all three. Because using the circular arm saw and the air compressor at the same time, it's kind of pushing it, in my opinion. But it definitely passes the test for outside use and for building purposes. Now, I usually don't do this during review videos, but what the heck. What I'm doing here, ladies and gentlemen, is I'm obviously inside of my shed that I'm going to use to store my big generator, my house generator, all of my other small gas generators, along with my 2 snow blowers. And what I'm doing here is I'm building a workbench so that I can also have a place in order to, let's say, give the generators a tune-up or something like that. If I want to clean one of my firearms, I have a nice place where to clean it. It looks like it's a little bit high, but I have a bar stool that is perfect, that if I put up against here, it will be perfect for that height. Eventually, I'm going to end up building shelves all over. This room is going to be shelves all over. And I have to say that this is one of the reasons why I love solar generators, because not only are they great for emergencies to keep the essentials running, but if you don't feel like running power to a small building like this one, guess what? Just bring a solar generator with me, or even run an extension cord from a solar generator to where I'm at right here, and it works out great. I'm going to go ahead and do the heater test along with the air conditioner test. All right, ladies and gentlemen, just to see if we can maintain the 2400 continuous watt outputs that this machine offers. Now let me go ahead and go over a few of the specs with you. Now, as I previously stated, the GRECELL 2400 has a continuous 2400 watt output, and it has an inverter that provides you with a pure sine wave. It has a pretty decent sized battery for a machine that comes in at roughly 55 pounds or so. And the rated capacity for the LifePo 4 battery is about 1843 watt hours. But being that it has a LifePo battery, it does have that long life cycle of about 3,500 cycles before it starts to lose capacity. The battery would still work. It's just that it will not maintain a 100% charge like before, but it'll still be good to use well after that. This machine has something that I like and that I think that every single machine should have, which is UPS. Which means that you can go ahead and attach an appliance to this machine. As long as the machine is attached to the grid, the appliance is going to be drawing electricity from the grid and not the batteries. And then as soon as the grid power goes down and this GRECELL notices that there's no more electricity coming in from the grid, it will automatically switch over to battery power in as little as 10 milliseconds, meaning that, for example, if you have a refrigerator hooked up to this using the UPS mode, that your refrigerator will not shut down. It will automatically go to battery power. It does have a pretty good input capacity for your solar. It has 800 watts max for solar input, which is pretty good. I actually had it outside for part of the day yesterday because it was nice and sunny. I only had about 400 watts of solar attached to it, so we didn't hit that 800 max, but it accepts solar in a very good way as long as you have decent solar panels. Also, it has an AC charge capacity of 1200 watts per hour. And one thing that we're going to try today, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I purposefully left it about half full, even though I've used it already. And the reason for that is because we're going to actually hook this up to AC so that we can see if this mode button here will work, because the function of this button is supposed to allow you to charge it lesser watts. So normally this will take in 1200 watts from an AC outlet, but if you press the mode button to eco, I believe it is, it's going to only allow you to draw in or have an input about 1/4 of the total. So roughly 300 watts or so. That's what the owner manual says, and I haven't tried it, so we're going to find out together. Now this unit is very simple. I went ahead and turned it off just so you can see how simple it is, from turning it on to using different things on it. The on-off button is right here in front of your face. You can't miss it. And what you have to do is long press it to turn it on. And one of the things that I do like about this unit is that it has a very nice and big LCD screen that allows you to see everything. Everything else here has a button. So your DC output for your cigarette lighter adapter and or your 5521 ports is just a push of a button, and it is a quick press. It's not a long press. So you see right here it says car. That's pretty cool. I kind of like that. Your USB comes with 2 USB-C ports, and these are 100 watts each, which is very nice. And of course it also comes with your standard 2 USB-A ports as well. And then to turn on your USB, same thing, just a quick press. And there you go. It lets you know that your USB is on. And if you turn on multiples, they will stack up. You see that? Car, USB. They will stack up and let you know which ones are on at the time. Your AC ports, you have 4 pretty decent size AC ports. I kind of like this cover. I kind of like this cover better than these guys. Now these covers here are meant to like keep dust and stuff from the inside, which is fine. But I really like these, that you don't have to bother tucking back in. But that's just a personal preference. But you have 4 AC outlets that are rated to 2400 watts each, meaning that you can either get 2400 watts continuous out of any one of these outlets or a combination of all of them outlets. And to turn on your AC power, all you have to do is, I don't remember if it's a long press or a short press, but let's find out. Let's do a short press first. And it is a short press. Pretty cool. I actually had my fan, my box fan, running off of this all night long, and they look like they're pretty high quality outlets as well. Very nice so far. And let's go and turn it off. Boom, comes right off. And this is your input, ladies and gentlemen. It takes an Anderson connector, and they do provide you with an Anderson connector that will connect to MC4 solar panels. And what am I thinking? Let me show you the things that this comes with in addition to what you see right here. Now read your owner's manual, ladies and gentlemen. This is very well written actually, and it's very easy to follow. All the information that I've been telling you has come out of here and from me using it for the last couple of days or so. And here is your solar input with your garden variety MC4 connectors, and then of course your Anderson connector. And then of course it also comes with your cigarette lighter adapter. You're obviously not going to get very much if you hook this into your cigarette lighter in order to charge it, maybe 100 watts or so. And of course it brings your charging cord, and you don't see a charging block with this because this is fast charging. So it's very nice that you can just plug this into the machine and plug it into the wall, and you are good to go. You can leave these machines plugged in, ladies and gentlemen, all the time. Like I told you, it has a UPS function that allows you to plug something in to your AC outlet, like an appliance, and have this plugged into the wall in the machine. And while this is plugged into the wall, that appliance is going to draw electricity, bypassing the battery right from the grid, meaning that your battery is not going to get used as long as there's grid power. I think that's a great option, and every single solar generator that is put out now in this competitive environment ought to have the UPS function on their machine. And it brings a little bag for you to have everything in it in one place. I think that this is a really nice add-on for as cheap as it is to make one of these little bags and include it. I think it's great that they do that. Now this is the back of the unit, and it has the AC input in the back, as you can see here. So we're going to go ahead and charge this unit so that we can see if we can manipulate the amount of wattage that's coming in by using the mode button in the front. And of course, it's got overcharge protection right here. It's kind of like, I like to call this like a breaker right there, right? Because if it pops, it means that you have to reset it. And this one does come with a lamp in the back, which is kind of new to me, that it comes with a lamp in the back, but that the button in order to turn it on is in the front, which I kind of like because it doesn't really blind you when you turn it on. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. So if you're sensitive to lights, look away, because I'm going to go ahead and show you the modes that this comes with. And then in the front, you have to press the button and you'll be able to see the light from the back. But let me show you what it looks like. So as you can see, the first one is low. The next one is high. The next one is flash or strobe. And then the last one is SOS. And again, I really like that the button is in the front and the flashlight or the lantern is in the back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and plug this in. I got my extension cord, and I really like that the input for this for AC is 1200 and that they allow you to change it. I think that when you charge a solar generator, no matter what it is, I think that the slower charge that it takes, the better it is for the battery. But that's just me thinking. I'm not an engineer. But anyways, let me stop talking. Let's go ahead and plug this in and see what happens. We can see that there's a little plug icon right there. And I did hear a click inside. And check it out. I like that it tells you how many minutes there's left before this is fully charged, which makes sense because at 53%, that comes out to about 920 something watt hours of power that you need. And since we've got 1200 watt hours coming in, it should be less than an hour. So that's pretty accurate, it looks. Now let's go ahead and press the mode button. This mode button is supposed to bring the input from your AC power or your AC outlet down to about 1/4 of the 1200. So it should come down to about 300. Let's see. I haven't tried this yet. There it goes. Eco right there. Let's see what happens. That is very nice. I really like that because if I want to power this up, I would rather use the lower setting than the high setting. It's just me, ladies and gentlemen. It's just me. But what that means is that, let's say you're using an outlet to recharge this and you want to use that outlet for something else. Let's say for a toaster oven that uses 1300 or 1400 watts. Well, now you can still charge this at the same time because 300 watts and let's say 1500 watts, which is your garden variety toaster oven out there, is 1500 watts or less, equals about 1800 watts, which is 15 amps or less. So being that the garden variety AC outlet in a general home out there is 15 amps, that means that you can be charging this at the same time and still be using an appliance at home from that same outlet that is a high electricity drawing appliance, like a vacuum cleaner or a hot plate or even a microwave. See, ladies and gentlemen, that's why I think it's nice to have this option. So now what we're going to do to finish this video off is I'm going to do a little test that I've been doing for the last few solar generators that I've tested, and I kind of like it. Right here you can see that I've got my heater plugged in. So I've got the heater that I use to heat this bunker in the wintertime plugged in. It's a small electric heater and it works great. And I also have my air conditioner plugged in as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn the heater on and we're going to see what it goes up to, the highest wattage that it goes up to, which I think is around 1400 watts. Then we're going to turn it off. Then we're going to turn our air conditioner on, see what's the highest it goes up to. And then we're going to turn them both on together at the same time to see if it'll hit 2400. Once we do that, we're going to go ahead and use this little gadget to hook up the heater to it, only the heater, and run it on high to see if the wattage output that it says it has stored in the batteries, the battery of this contains just a little over 1800 watt hours. So I'm assuming that once we're done doing our little test with the heater and the air conditioner, it's probably going to be at about 95% or something like that. But what we'll do is we'll run the heater on it, and only the heater, through this meter here, and run it until it's 50% lower than where it started to see how many watt hours we use. And we'll be able to calculate how efficient this machine is. We have no problem. Let me make sure that these cords are not touching the heater. That's probably a good idea, ladies and gentlemen. But we've got a nice 600 or so watts coming out of it. And let's go ahead and put it on medium. And it should automatically jump to, yeah, there you go, almost 1,000 watts coming out of it right now. Now let's go ahead and put it on high and see what we can get out of it on high. And on high, very nice. You can hear the fan turning on, all right? That's actually a good thing. So on high, you can see that we are just shy of 1,600 watts on high, more specifically 1,560 or so. All right, now that we're doing that, we're going to go ahead and turn it off, and we're going to go ahead and turn on our air conditioner. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and turn it on the dehumidifier function because it's too chilly in here for the air conditioner to actually work. So I just turned on the dehumidifier. It might take a minute before the compressor turns on, which is what really draws a lot of electricity. And right now we're only pulling about 50 watts of electricity. So as soon as my compressor on the dehumidifier turns on, we'll come back and see if we can join up with our heater, see how far we can take those wattage outputs. Ask and you shall receive, ladies and gentlemen. It took about 30 seconds for it to turn on. And I really hope you can see this 671, around 670 watts or so coming out. So we're going to be really close to that 2400 watt continuous output once we turn our heater on. And let's do that right now. Hopefully you can see it this way as well. The screen light turned off, but I think you can see it better that way. Ladies and gentlemen, again, there's no professional production crew here, okay? So let's turn on our heater. And I'm going to tell you what the wattage is just in case you can't make it out. Right now with the heater on low, it's just shy of 1,300 watts. We're putting it on medium. And we can hear the fan turning on the machine, on the GRECELL. We're at over 1,600 watts. Let's put it on high. And on high, we are pulling 2,200 and roughly 30 watts. So it looks like we're going to have to take out our solar generator and attach it to this to pull an additional 200 watts. Hot darn, ladies and gentlemen, all of my solar generators are full. They're all fully charged, so I'm doing something right at least, right? So we're at 2,379. Look at that, 2,380 watts. Let's go ahead and put this fan, this box fan that I have right here, let's plug that in. That's usually around 50, 55 watts. So I have to say, right now I am running my air purifier on high. I am running a small heater on high. I am running my dehumidifier on high. And I am running my fan here on high. And this is keeping up with everything. But take a look at the battery. There's only 87% now. So we've used about 13% of the battery since starting this little experiment. I'm going to go ahead and start turning everything off one at a time. And then we're going to go ahead and put our meter tester on here, or it'll record how many watt hours we actually use on here and bring it down 50% using the heater. Okay, so let's go ahead and take everything off. All right, ladies and gentlemen, everything is off. I have to say that this did exactly what it said it was going to do. The heater is still very hot. Let me push it away a little bit. Okay. And the reason you can't see the heater, ladies and gentlemen, it's just a little one of those oil-filled heaters. It's not that big of a deal. It's a heater, but you can obviously see that it's working from the wattage that we're consuming. So let's go ahead and take this off. I'm hoping that this is going to work. I think, oh, look at that. Maybe it won't. I have to see if I can either take this off or be able to put it on there like that. Oh, you know what? I can use an extension cord because that extension cord is rated to 15 amps, and that's what this heater is. So give me a second. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I love you, because I already know that a lot of you are thinking, AP, be careful, all right? Even though that extension cord is rated for 15 amps, and this only goes up to 1,500 watts, which is less than 15 amps, be careful that your extension cord is not coiled up because it'll still get a little bit hot from the electricity going through it. Again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for thinking of me, but I am not going to go anywhere, all right? I'm not going to go anywhere while this is running off of this. That's why it's an experiment. And I actually plugged the extension cord in, and here's my meter right here. We're going to go ahead and turn it on and make sure that it's reset, and it is reset. You see, everything's zeroed out. And what this meter will do, ladies and gentlemen, it'll allow you to know how many watts the machine is using at one time, at any time, and it'll also calculate how many watt hours you used for the minutes that you used it for. So this will start counting off minutes. And let's say, for example, we're going to use this for half an hour. In half an hour, we'll go down 50%, let's say. It'll tell us exactly how many minutes it took for this to draw down 50% of the machine in half an hour. And then it'll tell us exactly how many watt hours it used from this machine. So we're going to go ahead and plug this in right here. Let's see if we can put it right up here. All right. And now we're going to go ahead and turn on the machine. We're turning on our heater right now. You can hear the fan go off right away. So you can actually use a solar generator to put a heater on, I would say, during a really bad emergency where you had to do this, because if not, it was life or death. I don't recommend it. I'm just doing this to test it. But I would say that in a real big emergency, absolutely, you'll get about an hour. Depending on how big the battery is, you'll get an hour and a half of heat. And you can make that hour and a half go a long way if you have a real sealed room. But I would never use it as a regular way to like use a heater, only during dire emergencies. And let's take a look at this. Now right here, it shows that we are using just shy of 1500 watts. And on our machine, it shows that we're using a tiny bit more than 1500 watts. I think that it's compensating for the fan that is running in there, and of course the inverter, and probably 10 or 15 watts to run this meter right here. But you can see that this shows how many minutes and seconds it's run so far, a minute and 15 seconds. And then we can change the function. And ladies and gentlemen, check out my Amazon storefront. This is like 20 bucks for one of these. And these are very, very handy to have. So let's check the function. Let me see if I can see it backwards. So right here, no, I can't see it backwards. All right, so right here, it shows you how many kilowatt hours you've used. And so far, in 1 minute and 30-something seconds, we've used 0.02 kilowatt hours. All right, ladies and gentlemen? So check that out. That's pretty good. 0.023, so almost nothing so far. But it will keep going up, and it will keep recording it. That way, when we're done, when this gets down to about 35%, we'll know that we have used about 50% of the capacity of the power that's in this battery. And then we'll be able to see, well, what's 50% on this? How many kilowatt hours? It should be about 0.9 kilowatt hours, 50%, which will tell us that this has an awesome efficiency rating. But when it gets done, I'll come back and we'll go over the numbers, and then I'll give you my final thoughts on this machine right here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I had to rush over here. We are at 34% right now. So that's 50% of the battery capacity from when we started to use the heater to see how much watt hours, or how many watt hours it actually used. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it off right now so we don't go too much over. We're at 33%. We're going to go ahead and treat it as 50%. In all actuality, it is 52%. But the math will be a lot easier at 50%, right? But I think we're still going to achieve what we want to find out by using 50%. I'm going to go ahead and unplug everything. And you know what? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You're right. This wire is a little bit warm. Let's see. No, but this part down here isn't. Up here it is. I'm going to unplug this. Actually, no, we have to have this plugged in, because that's how this works. Thank goodness it didn't lose any of the information. You have to actually reset it. But here we go. Right now, it's not using any wattage. All right, so that's what it's telling you. So we press the function. And let's see what this is. Look at this. It used exactly 1 kilowatt. It used 1,000 watt hours. Okay? Let's see. That's just the voltage, showing that it was using 119 volts, 120, same thing. And this is the lowest wattage that it used at any one time. The highest wattage that it used was 1,509 watts. That's all the information. So we used 1 kilowatt hour. So it's going to be very easy for us to find out whether this machine is very efficient or not. All right, so what is the capacity of the battery in this machine? Let me get you the exact number out of the owner's manual. If I remember right, without looking at it, I'm pretty sure it's like 1,847. I was off by 4. So the rated capacity is 1,843 watt hours. This used 50% of its battery, and our meter tells us that it used 1,000 watt hours, which tells me, ladies and gentlemen, that this is a very efficient machine. I think it's a very good machine. It does everything that it says it's supposed to do. Now, this isn't something, in my opinion, that you're going to power your entire house with. This is something that I would get if I needed to power a refrigerator or a freezer. Definitely not a space heater unless it's a dire emergency. But if I have a CPAP machine or something like that, this is what I would get this for. To keep the lights on pretty much and keep those things that you need that are critical to you during a power outage to have like a half of a day or so backup. Because this, I'm very confident, will power a refrigerator probably for a whole day. And this is what most people get these things for, is to power their refrigerator, their freezer, keep the lights on, etc. Right? So it did everything that it says it's supposed to do. The price, well, ladies and gentlemen, they provided me with a link and a code so that you can get a discount on the price. And the price comes in, I believe, if I remember correctly, at under 50 cents per watt hour, which is very good. And that's what I like about competition. I say it all the time. I think competition is great. It gives you, the consumer, a better product at a better price. So if you're interested in this, go check it out. Again, I will be leaving the link and a code for a discount in the description of this video and also on a pinned comment. I want to say thank you to GRECELL for sending me this unit to check out. Again, I think it's a good unit at a very decent price. Having said that, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining in. God bless every one of you. God bless America. I'm Alaska Prepper. I'm out.